Hello, everybody. How you doing today? Tony Rizzano back with you for the Affiliate Party podcast. We're coming to you live from our driveway in the great city of Atlanta, Georgia. Now, you want to get started in the business. If you want to get your business started, you want to be serious. If you're very serious about your business, like I am, you can't just, you have to get a strategy, you have to get everything going, but you also want to make it legit. And one thing I did to make my business, to make me actually feel like I was, I'm running a legit business, is I started whichever one you want to start, sole proprietor, LLC, whatever. I started one, I filed and everything. But I went to a place called Zen Business. It was a lot cheaper than LegalZoom, and they do the same thing. They file the paperwork for you. They make it a lot easier. If you don't have any experience in that, I would recommend you go to Zen Business. You can find them online. It was a lot cheaper. It only took, with the coronavirus and everything, it took maybe like 6 weeks maybe to get all my paperwork back. To get my, I live in Georgia, so the Georgia thing, and then the EIN number. Say that a bunch of times. And then, of course, I went to the bank, started a business account. So, it made me feel a lot more. It gave me, for some strange reason, it gave me a lot of energy, like, boom, now I'm in the business. Now I got to do it, And then the things I do, like the Medium, I went and so now when I write on Medium and get paid, it deposited into my business account, which is pretty nice. I mean, of course, we got to put a few more. We got to put a few more bucks in that Medium account, but the Medium and everything else that I'm a affiliate for, it goes into that account, and I'm like, hey, now I feel like I am running a real business now because I have the EIN number, I have the business account, blah blah blah. But I just want to give you that little tip. So if you don't know anything about that, you don't know anything about starting getting the EIN number or anything like that, I would recommend you check out Zen Business. I mean, for me, it was cheaper than LegalZoom. I mean, LegalZoom was good too, but it was like, I think $150 cheaper, and I mean, it's the same thing. So that's just a little tip from me to you. Now we'll get into the heart of the program. Hey, welcome back. Now, let's get into the meat of the matter. Today's Sunday, Sunday, every Sunday will probably be a mixed bag of things, not really related to, it's not going to be affiliate marketing strategy or anything like that. But this is something that I have to tell you from experience. Of course, everything I like to talk about, I try to come from, of course, we're here to learn, but we're also here. I'm not going to tell you any bullshit stories. So this is always first-hand experience, Starting a business, probably one of the hardest things I've done. Besides, the hardest thing I probably ever did was actually join the Navy and graduating boot camp. That was hard. That was a little challenging, but I did it. It was cool. Whatever. That don't matter. Whatever. But starting a business, and I don't really tell my friends and family that I'm starting I'm not going around telling everybody, hey, I'm starting a business, because we all know if you tell your mother anything, your parents, or grandparents, whoever you're closest to, if you tell them, hey, I'm starting this, they give you all these claps and all these pats on the back, And me, myself, I'm not looking for any pats on the back, I'm looking for the dollars in the bank. You know what I mean? I mean, you don't want people to start clapping for you when you haven't really accomplished anything, I mean, yeah, you need, of course you need, I mean, how do I say this? What am I trying to say? When you're starting anything, when you're doing anything, when you're in the middle of something, you might need a little push. You might need a little pick me up. But when I first started this journey, I wasn't going around telling the whole world, hey, I'm starting this, because my mom would have been like, she would have told everybody, my baby doing this, my baby doing that, and It wouldn't have went anywhere because she'd have just said, "I know you making all that money," and I wasn't making any money. I was struggling. I mean, I quit 5 times probably. In the first year and a half. Of course, you curse out the computer, you get upset, you get annoyed. You see these people online, probably lying, half of them, saying how much money they make in a month, and you're just like, what the fuck, you just, what the fuck, and it's very aggravating, so that's why I tell people, I say, you want to start something, you want to do something, don't look for pats on the back. Don't be waiting around. Don't go on Facebook and say, this business, I'm just getting off the ground, blah, 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 what I mean? At the end of the day, it's you, it's the business, and it's how far you want to go. All them pats on the back ain't going to do you any good. Nobody telling you to keep on going, all that motivational stuff. You have to motivate yourself. You have to show up every day. You have to be there every day. You have to come with it, You have to bring it every day. Every day, every day, every day, Now, I'm not saying you have to bring the whole, the whole package every day, but you have to show up. You have to get it done. Make it happen, Just like every day, this morning I woke up. My wife was still asleep. I looked at her and I said, I got a podcast to do, She not gonna tell me, hey, get up and do that podcast, She don't care, I mean, she loves me, don't get me wrong. She don't care, If I stay at a truck job until I'm 70 years old, this woman's gonna love me regardless, you know what I mean? So that part doesn't really matter when it comes to, because people are gonna love you regardless. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if if you want to work at McDonald's for 30 years of your life, that's fine. People are gonna love you. Nobody's gonna look at, well, if they look down on you, they ain't your friend anyway. If they look down on you, they don't really give two shits about you anyway. So people that really care about you, it doesn't matter what you do. As long as you're not a damn, don't be a damn criminal or nothing like that. But you know what I'm saying. Doesn't matter what you do for work. Doesn't matter how much money you have, where you live. People that love you, they're going to love you regardless, no matter what. But you want to start something. You want something to grow. You want something to be, you want this thing you're working on to grow, to build. You want it to come together. It's up to you. You got to make it happen. You know what I mean? You can't sit there and wait for people to pat you on the back. That's one thing that a couple months ago, I was going to get signed up for this affiliate program. And of course, I probably said this before, but that's the one that said no selling, no telling, blah blah blah, that bullshit, But every day you got to post about how much money you're making, and that, to me, that is so annoying, That's very annoying. I don't give a damn how much you're making. If you're making a lot of money and I know you, or if you listen to this podcast and you tell me, hey Tony, since I listened to the podcast, I went on and I'm making, I'd be like, hey, that's great. Congratulations, I'll be happy for you. But somebody I really don't really know, or, somebody don't really, you don't have a really, it's like the guy I knew from high school, every day he's like, I'm making $10,000. I made $10,000 every day, And then people are like, oh, that's such a great job, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, but it's a fucking pyramid scheme, so they ain't gonna last forever, I mean, come on. Anyway, I mean, the point of this podcast is, don't wait for anybody to pat you on the back. Don't wait for claps. Don't wait for anything. Just get in there. Just as they say in Top Gun, get in there and do some dog fighting. Get in there, figure it out, make this thing happen, and it will take off. And as I always say, it doesn't matter. It might start off slow. I mean, look at me. This podcast started, however long ago it was, 6 weeks ago, 5 weeks, 6 weeks ago. I decided to dedicate it and do it every day. Every day, we're going to do this podcast, and then, now we're gaining some traction, you know what I mean? So, and I mean, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't even told my wife, I haven't even told my wife that I started the podcast, because what does it matter to her? No. And at the end, of course, eventually I would say, hey, I have a podcast, when it's all nice and polished and everything. But if I told her I was starting the podcast, she would say, oh, that's so good. What are you going to talk about? Blah, 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 blah. It'd be 1,000 questions. At the time, I didn't really know how to have the answers to anything, And of course, we'll throw the quotation marks. I started this podcast 6 months ago with the most sporadic episodes. So, technically, this podcast is from 2019, but with the 6 name changes and the 100 start overs, it doesn't matter. This is a podcast that's been established in July 2020, but now we're here every day, showing up every day, So no, I haven't got a pat on the back yet, and I'm not looking for one, and you shouldn't look for one either. Just get in there because, let's be honest with each other, I was a kid of I watched a lot of Michael Jordan games, what we saw, what you and I see, if you like LeBron or whatever sport you like, whatever you see the guy after 1,000 hours of practice, thousands and thousands of hours of practice. This guy has been in the gym, we don't see that part. We don't see the part about them struggling. We don't see that part. We see the polish, you know what I mean? So a lot of people, they want to start off with, when you're unpolished, they won't start with you. But I'll tell you what, give it some time. You start generating leads, traffic, and then the money starts coming in. And then once you get established, by the time you get to, you have 100,000 YouTube subscribers or whatever, and then people will be like, "Oh, this YouTube is so great." But then but of course, how much sweat equity you put into the channel, and how much sweat equity you put into the whatever you're doing. People don't want to see that. People ain't gonna see that. They're gonna just see the finished product. You know what I mean? So that's why I say, don't worry about no pats on the back. Don't expect them. People don't care. People care, but you know what I mean. At the end of the day, it's you. It's up to you. You got to do it, Nobody's going to push you out the bed to do it. You just have to do it. And that's that. So, I know this was a rambling gambling podcast and everything, but I just had to let that out sometimes, You just have to. I like to tell people, because you see people all the time. I don't know about you, but I'll be honest, I don't go on the social media a lot these days, But whenever I do, you always see somebody and they say, "I'm thinking about starting this." It's like, before I go, I'll tell you this story. It was a guy, my cousin. I had a cousin, little cousin, my baby cousin, Latrey, old Trey Day. So Latrey was going to join the Army or whatever. He's supposed to have a friend, the buddy program. I don't know. You might have heard of this. But these two guys were supposed to join the Army and be in the buddy program, So my cousin, he took the test. He passed the test. Both of them took the test. And then the other guy, he was supposed to go. And then he was like, "Oh, I got to wait a little while. I got to see what's going to happen with my mom, There wasn't nothing wrong with his mom, but that was his excuse, So then he was like, "I think my mom wants me to go to college or whatever, So, of course, he didn't go to the Army. My cousin took off, left, And I seen this guy like 2 years later, and then he asked me, he's like, "Hey, where's Latrey?" And I'm like, "He's in New York somewhere, upstate New York, And he said, "Hey, ask him, do he know the recruiter number?" And I'm like, "What? The recruiter number?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm thinking about joining the Army." I said, "You should have did that like 2 years ago." He's like, "I'm ready now." And that was like 10 years ago. And this guy, he's still not in the Army. He works somewhere. Nothing wrong with that, but Don't keep telling me what you're gonna do. Just get in there and do it, and then let me see the results. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean by don't be patting, because his mom was like, "Oh yeah, he gonna join the Army, blah blah blah." But 20 years later, this guy's still not in the Army. This guy's still not in the Army, Which I don't know, me personally. Go Navy, I guess, huh? I'm just kidding. But anyway, yeah. Before I get going, I'm going to be writing an article in the next day or two about snake oil salesmen or online gurus, whichever one you want to call them. I'm doing some research this morning, and then I'm going to start making an outline this afternoon. I probably won't be able to finish up because I'll probably have to watch a couple movies with my wife. Happy life, happy wife, as they say, boys and girls. So You got to spend a little quality time with your spouse. So I'll probably get the outline done today, but it'll probably be done in the next couple of days. But I will let you know so you can read it. I'm gonna try to make it pretty entertaining. You know, there's a lot of shenanigans going on in the online world, so I will always tell you to be careful. You know, don't fall for the booby traps. Watch out. A lot of people, they say they got a lot of success, but a lot of them are just course sellers. They don't do anything in the just say you want to be in the drop shipping. You know, these guys, they'll try to say you a $2,500 drop shipping course, and they haven't sold a damn dime on drop shipping. They just sell you the course. So you got to be careful about that. You want to get in there. You want to deal with people that's actually doing the things that they say they're doing. You just don't want the course creator, because they will tell you, yeah, you can do it, and then they will lead you. And then the material, a lot of times in them $2,500 course, you got to be careful. Nothing wrong with buying, and we're going to a different subject. I got to work these segments a little more, but this will be a different segment. But a lot of these people, when they say your course, you have to do research. This is what I want you to do. Now, me, I used to just sort of be I would go with the impulse, you know. I go, okay, I'm going to do this. But of course, I would never spend $2,500 on impulse, because I'm kind of tight with the cash, you know what I mean? But you have to do the research. Some courses, I had a cousin. He bought an investment. He bought a course about stock market, swing trading. That's what he bought. He bought this course, swing trading. He bought it. He said it was $2,000. I remember he called me. He had been on the fence for a couple of weeks, and then he was like, he worked some overtime. He worked like a couple of weeks of overtime, saved up, got the $2,000, and then he bought it, and then he really went into the course. You know, he did the whole training. He did everything. And then he actually made his money back from the course, you know. So stuff like that is not if you spend $2,000 on a course and you know that you're gonna get your money back, then, you know. But of course, I mean, you don't know you're gonna get your money back, but you have to put in the effort. You know, this guy, he bought the course, and then he started studying it, then he started applying it, and then it worked for him. So don't buy any course unless you know for sure. Always sleep on it before you buy it. That's gonna be my recommendation for you. Always sleep on it before you buy it. Give it some thought, and then think, is this something I really want to do? Is this something that I'm gonna commit myself to doing? And then commit yourself to do it, and then just do it. And will you make the money back? If you just keep going at it, of course, eventually you will find out what works for you. Like I said in another video about the YouTube video guy. The guy kept doing YouTube videos for like 3 years, 4 years, and now some years later, this guy has 40 million subscribers. I mean, that's nuts, you know. 40 million subscribers is awesome, you know what I mean? But this guy, he just kept going, and he figured out what worked for him, and then he kept doing the thing that worked for him, and he built up an audience, you know. So that is my spillage about buying courses, you know. Of course, look into them, look into the person, do some research. Now, of course, as we all know, if you do reviews, you have to weigh who's reviewing it, because a lot of people, they go on impulse, they buy these courses, and then they do one day of work, and then they quit them. So you have to be careful about that. But I know this is confusing, but some people that sell the course are full of shit. So you have to separate it. And if you ever have any questions, contact me, and I'll help you out here. Because, you know, after a while, I'm an old man now. I know who's full of shit and who's not. You know, I can sort of tell. You know, and the more I've learned about this online schematics and schemes. You know, I've learned how to separate, you know, who's full of it and who ain't. You know what I mean? I still can get tricked every now and then, but for the most part, I'm pretty on the mark about things. All right. Oh man, we went really long, so that's that. That's all for today. I thought this was gonna be a quick video, you know, but nah, I don't mind. I hope you enjoyed these podcasts. I enjoy doing them. So once again, tomorrow we'll come back with a brand new episode. Tomorrow, I don't know when I'm going to be able to upload it. I gotta get it going early in the morning, but we'll upload it sometime before the late evening. We'll get it done and have it uploaded. All right. This is it. Tony Zano, Affiliate Party Podcast, and of course we will talk to you tomorrow. And as always, peace.